Okay, everyone. Well, I have 5:30 on my watch, and I'll just go ahead and go through a roll. I do believe we have enough for a quorum here. It's good to see all your faces. And just a couple of housekeeping things. If you could remember just to keep your microphones on mute unless you want to speak, just to kind of cut down on some of the background noise. And I am recording this. It's also being broadcast live to our YouTube site, the RTC YouTube site, so we can conform with open meetings law. So without further ado, let me pull up the roster here. And if I call your name, if you could just let me know if you're present, just in case we have some folks calling in as well. So just going down my list, Sig, you're on us?
Here.
Harvey Katz. Okay. Alan Chow. Siraj Verma. Jillian Keller.
I am here.
Thanks, Jillian. Paul Malikowski.
Present. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Paul. Dora Uel.
Hi, Dan. Oh, yay. Thank you for saying my last name properly. I'm here, no videos.
Excellent. Thanks, Dora. I heard you say it a few times, so I made a mental note. Vince Harris.
I'm here.
Hi, Vince.
Good evening.
Scott is not here. Rudy Leon. Mayuko Majima.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Jeff Bonanno.
I am here.
Thank you, Jeff. Laura Azam. Thought I saw you, Laura. Mike Sazinski.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Mauricio Urias.
Present.
Excellent. I apologize if I butchered anybody's name, but we do have a quorum. And I do want to also just acknowledge our new members, Mauricio and Mike. Welcome aboard, and thank you for your participation. So without further ado, Jeff is the current vice chair, and I will kick it off to Jeff to get the meeting running.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dan. Okay. So let's go ahead and get this started. The actual time is 5:33 for June 1st, 2020. July 1st, 2020. You know, the way that things have been, who can remember?
Feels like it shouldn't be July yet.
I know, right? Okay, let's go ahead and get things started. We'll start with item number 1, approval of the agenda. Did everyone get a chance to take a look at the agenda, and do we have any changes that need to be made?
Reactions button, record button, share screen button, open chat panel button, close comma, start my video button.
Okay.
And I would just remind everyone, if you could, to mute your microphones, unless you wanted to say something. Thank you.
Also, just for the record, if you speak, please say your name before you get into whatever it is you have to say. Even with motions, please say your name so we have that for the record, please. That being said, can I get a motion to approve the agenda, please?
This is Sig Rice. I'll move to approve the agenda.
Okay, I've got a motion.
This is Dora Uel. I second. Sorry, I was looking for my unmute button, so I second.
It's okay. I've got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, seeing none, motion carries. All right. Moving on to item 2, public comment, because we are doing this as a broadcast. Dan, do we have any comments that need to be put in for record?
We do. I did receive one for the record, and I will read that out loud. This came from Andrew Samuelson of the Truckee Meadows Bicycle Alliance. And his comment is, as part of the RTP 2050, please include projects that would complete a network of cycle tracks in central Reno. The cycle tracks should interconnect, be physically separated from cars, and be safe for riders from 8 to 80 years old to use. An example network may include Oddie Wells, Center Street, and North Sierra Street from 9th to North McCarran, Sutro/Locust/Kerman from North McCarran to Plum, Mary Street, Virginia to Plumas, Plumas Street, Mary to Moana, Vassar Street, Virginia to Terminal, and 7th Street, West McCarran to UNR. This network would have a very small effect on car capacity and parking, but would provide a very, very large capacity for bikers of all ages. This network could be built quickly and cheaply. RTP 2050 survey results show a desire for bicycle infrastructure over any other projects, including traffic congestion projects. End comment.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Dan. And were there any others? Was that the only one?
That was it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. And real quick, Rudy, would you mind muting your screen?
Do y'all have quorum without me?
We do have a quorum, Rudy.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have to reboot. My computer is doing 700 wrong things, so I'll be back.
No
Okay.
worries.
Okay.
All right. So let's go ahead. If there are no other public comments, we can move on to item 3. And that is election of chair and vice chair for fiscal year 2021. This is something we do every single year. And I think this is a great time to have some fresh new faces running the CMAC. So at this time, since we are doing both the chair and vice chair, we'll go ahead and do it one at a time, starting with the chair. I definitely encourage anyone to nominate somebody else or even themselves if they'd like that opportunity to take the role of chair. And even if you're not interested in chair, but you still want to get involved in this, I encourage you to even consider vice chair. So with that being said, let's go ahead and first open things up for nominations for chair. Do I have anybody that would like to nominate somebody or nominate themselves? Please say your name or who you would like to nominate.
This is Jillian Keller. I really see these roles as sort of just like serving the larger group. And for that reason, I would like to just nominate myself for either position, whichever needs to be filled.
Awesome. Thank you for nominating yourself, Jillian. Is there anyone else that would like to nominate themselves or nominate someone else?
This is Vince Harris. I'd like to nominate the current vice chair to be chair.
Well, thank you very much.
This is Jillian Keller. I would also like to nominate Vince Harris.
All right, it sounds like we're starting a bidding war here. Since we do have 2 nominations, I am actually going to thank you very much, Vince, but since I've already been chair once, I will decline the nomination. So I will leave the voting up to Vince and Jillian for chair. Let's see.
This is Vince, if I could have a comment.
Yes, Vince.
So I haven't really served on the committee that long. I would really yield to Julian to be chair. I would be interested in vice chair, but I'd like to have a little more time serving on the committee before serving as chair.
Vince, we joined this at the same time.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, I guess I have no excuse.
All right. Well, since we are doing it against you two, so let's do it this way. Sorry, this is all online and through Zoom. I guess just let's do we have any screens? We have got 1, 2.
Well, this is Dora. Well,
Yeah.
can I just say I nominate Miss Keller to be the chair?
Okay. All right. So we've got 2 nominations, and actually, I will be honest. I had Vince on my list as a nominee as well. So I think what we'll do is we will go ahead and tally our votes. Since you guys have both have about the same balance, is there anything either of you would like to say in regards to being chair and how you would do, or what you would do, or just some experience that you have in the past that you want to share with us? Vince, let's go ahead and start with you.
Well, like I said, I haven't been on the committee that long, but I think it's an important committee for improved transportation throughout the region. I do have some background in regional transportation planning and engineering and construction, so I believe that I could handle the job. I enjoy the committee. I look forward to learning more about the needs of the Reno Sparks region. I'm still a newcomer to the area, so I don't know the area as well as many others around this table, but I'm willing to learn and hopefully be a dedicated participant on the committee.
Awesome. Thank you, Vince. And Jillian, I'd love to hear what you have to say too.
I guess I would just like to reiterate that I see the roles as very much just like guiding the group in their dialogue and discussion. And so I would certainly have to brush up on like the decorum rules, and I know we probably all need to. But yeah, like I said, I'm really just, I know that we're all a little bit shy to take on these roles, and so I just wanted to come out as a willing participant. But I really have a lot of respect for Vince and his experience in this field. And so, yeah, vice chair.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. Dan, are you going to record the tallies if we just do a tally for?
Absolutely, I could do that. It would be helpful, I think, if we could do like a, just state your name, so we make sure we get everyone.
Okay. So you want us to go one by one?
Sure. Would it be helpful if I kind of just go down the lists as I see the list of participants on my screen here?
Yeah, probably. That would be best.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. So actually, Jeff, well, it switches, I think, based on who's talking. I don't know if I can. All right, I'll just go across my screen.
Dan,
Yeah.
I wrote the names down on the notes. Do you want me just to read them for you? And that way, if we missed anybody, we can clarify that.
I'm sorry, Rebecca, I missed the first part of that.
Oh, I wrote everybody's names down. So do you want me to just read them since my screen's not jumping everywhere?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that'd be great.
And
Thank
that
you.
way, if I miss somebody, you guys can help me and I'll fix that on the minutes. Okay, so the first person I have is Dora.
Yes, Jill for, I guess he says vice, so yes.
Jillian for vice. Thank you. And then Mike.
Okay. Can I abstain? I'm pretty new. I don't know.
Okay. Vince.
Vince votes Jillian for chair.
Thank you. Jeff.
I vote Vince for chair.
And Jillian.
I vote Vince for chair.
And is it, pardon me on the name, is it Mauricio?
You nailed it, Rebecca. Mauricio
Ah,
here.
thank you.
Vince for chair.
Thank you. Paul.
Vince for chair.
And Laura.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Vince, do you want to, let me understand, will you be chair? Do you want to be chair?
I would prefer to be vice chair, but I'll accept the role of chair if the committee deems that they would like me to do the job.
Okay, I would like you to be chair.
I'm
And
sorry, that was
one
Vince for chair and Jillian for vice.
Jillian for vice, yes.
Thank you. And Sig.
I will vote for Vince Harris for chair and Jillian Keller for vice chair.
Thank you. And Mayuko?
Vince for chair, please.
Thank you. And Harvey?
Hello. I like them both, so I'm going to abstain, and the vote will happen, and somebody will end up being chair and vice chair, which is really great. And thank you, people, for volunteering.
Awesome. Thanks, Harvey. Siraj?
Yeah, I vote Vince for chair, Jillian for vice.
Thank you. And Alan?
Yeah, pretty much the same.
Okay, thank you. And Rudy, did you rejoin us? Okay, how about that would be all that I have. Is there anybody I'm missing? Awesome. So it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for Vince, 2 abstained, and then it looks like Jillian will be our vice chair.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. Thank you both for stepping up. I guess, yeah, well, we're just combining both voting at the same time. It makes sense anyway. Normally, this would be the point where I hand the gavel to you, Vince, but you're just going to have to pretend that you have it now in your possession. And when we all start sitting back down together, just remember to grab that. But thank you so much for the opportunity to be your both chair beforehand and then vice chair. I've really enjoyed being with all of you guys, and I'm still going to be, you know, part of the group for another 3 years. But I'm just really pleased to see so many wonderful people stepping up and volunteering for our community. So thank you very much. And with that being said, Vince, since you are now the new chair, congratulations, and congratulations, Jillian, for vice chair. Yay. I'm going to pass it over to you, and you can continue on the rest of the meeting.
All right, thank you so much for the opportunity. You all I'll do the best I can at the job. It is volunteer, so we just hang in there. Moving on to item number 4, recommend approval of proposed revisions to the RTC policies governing the Citizens Mobility Advisory Committee, our committee, for possible action.
Yes, thank you, Vince. So once in a while, every couple of years, we look at the policies governing the CMAC just to see if there's any areas that could use some updating or that makes more sense, that more in line with how this body operates. So I'm going to share my screen here just to kind of help me talk through it as well. So the changes staff is proposing are pretty minimal. But, you know, nonetheless, they do require a vote of this committee to make any changes. And we're actually recommending approval, so it would go to our RTC board as well. So if I can just navigate there. Bear with me a second. So the changes in the packet are outlined with the track changes function in red, but I'm just going to go through and read them for everyone too, just for anyone that might not have it in front of them. So number 4 in, I guess that's the first section. Sorry, it's kind of hard to work with the window with everyone's faces on here and look at the document at the same time. So yes, number 4. So it used to read that the RTC will advertise for potential members in local newspapers and on public transportation vehicles when a vacancy occurs. And we are proposing to strike out in local newspapers and on public transportation vehicles when a vacancy occurs, replacing that language with using traditional and social media outlets when there is a need to recruit new, regular, and or alternate members. And really, I just kind of wanted to highlight that, you know, in this day and age, and certainly now, given that just about everything's virtually, we are making more of a push to reach out and push information out on social media outlets. That's not to say that we still don't put advertisements on our bus. We actually did that the last time we did a recruitment that we needed to call for applicants. And fortunately, we've really, we've just been getting applications without having to do much advertising, which has been great. So there's an interest to serve on this committee. So that's the first change. Number 6, it says membership on other RTC committees shall not be prohibited. And then there's a second sentence that says priority during recruitment will be given to individuals not currently serving on another RTC advisory committee. And we're proposing to strike that second sentence. There was a time when RTC had a couple different advisory committees, and this is going back probably about 5 years ago now. So we just feel like that's not really a relevant statement anymore, and we actually encourage all of our CMAC members to be involved with RTC in other ways as well, whether it's you know, project-specific advisory committee or whatnot. So, and then for the next 2, 7 and 9, they make reference to the commission. So, for example, number 9 says the commission shall provide secretarial and staff report to the committee. And I can see how this might be confused with the RTC as a board. So we just kind of clarified that language to say RTC staff. And then lastly, number 10, I think this is probably the most relevant. Says agendas and supporting material will be electronically mailed monthly to committee members no later than Friday before each meeting. And we are proposing adding a sentence saying hard copies of meeting materials will be provided upon member request. And we are certainly happy to continue to provide hard copies to anyone that would like them. Kind of the norm was the opposite. We just gave hard copies to everyone, and not everyone found them useful or wanted them. So in an effort to kind of streamline things and also use less paper, the go-to will be electronically, but if there are hard copies preferred, we have no problem sending those out and mailing those out. But just wanted to not do it unnecessarily is all. And I did hear from a number of you. I did send kind of a formal poll, you know, a couple weeks ago, just in preparing for this meeting. And so thank you for everyone that did respond. And if you have not yet responded and you do prefer a hard copy or don't, please let me know either way. And it doesn't have to be now, but just shoot me an email or something. That would be great. So those are the changes. Like I said, nothing earth shattering, but we're looking for a recommendation for approval.
Can I ask something real quick?
Yes.
At the beginning of number 1, it doesn't have access mentioned anywhere.
I'm sorry, you're hurting my ear. I can't hear you. It's a lot of whistling noise.
Yeah, something's happening with the sound.
Can you hear me better?
That seems a little better.
Okay, it might be the computer. I can't help it. It goes up and down. I'll do real quick before it goes up again. It doesn't have access in the first sentence in there anywhere. It has bicycle facilities, pedestrian, highway systems, regional street, and multimodal transportation planning, but it doesn't have access in there. So I would like to know if access needs to be added into there, since access is a part of the committee.
Yeah, I think, Laura, it's really referring to modes. And so there is a statement about public transportation in there. And so I think we were looking at it as public transportation would cover ride and access and flex ride, any of the transportation services that RTC provides.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Sure.
Are there any other? Go ahead.
I do want hard copy, Dan, quickly.
Do we have any other comments from the committee? Are there any comments from the public? Hearing none, is there a motion to recommend approval?
Mr. Chairman, this is Sig Yanrice. I will move to approve the changes to the policies governing the CMAC as presented.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
This is Dora OL, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Moving on to item number 5, receive direction on the 2050 Regional Transportation Plan, call for projects for possible action. Do we have a report?
Yes, thank you, Vince. I'm just going to share my screen here again and walk through a presentation. Let's see if I can get the slideshow going. Apologize, there might be a little bit of a delay. There we go.
Daniel, if we have already had projects presented to us, they're already part of the 2050 plan?
I'm sorry, Rudy, can you kind of expand upon that? I'm not sure what I understand your question.
So like the road through the farms that we talked about last month.
Right.
It's already been presented to us, so it's already part of the plan?
Not necessarily, no. And really what we're trying to do now, and I'll kind of get into this, but we want to just kind of put everything on the table, so to speak, and see, what that realm of possible projects is. And from there, that'll move forward to more of a selection and prioritization process. And then we'll be going back out to the public again at that point to just get final input on kind of what the proposed final program would be for the 2050 RTP, if that makes sense.
Yes, thank you.
Sure. Okay. So that is kind of the phase we're in right now. So for our new members, just to let you know a little background on the Regional Transportation Plan. This is a document that's a federally required document for a metropolitan planning organization, which is what RTC is for the Reno Sparks metro area. We have to update this plan every 4 years. And basically it outlines our program of projects, services, and other programs that we provide. And it's looking at a 20-year minimum planning horizon. Obviously 2050 is a little more than 20 years. And so I just wanted to give you that little bit of background information. There's a lot more you can really go into the weeds, but for this particular presentation, I just want to focus on the phase we're at now in developing this plan, which is kind of a call for projects. And so we're looking to the public, and we presented this to our technical advisory committee earlier this morning, looking to this body to provide us with any projects that should be considered for inclusion into the 2050 RTP. We currently have an online public meeting, which is on our website. Obviously, we can't do it the traditional way that we always had with like an open house or a workshop or something like that, just with COVID constraints. So we've actually found this format to be very successful. We've used it for a few other projects that we are working on right now, and we've gotten pretty high viewership, which is great, and it's probably actually even better than the turnout we would have gotten at a physical meeting. So I think people are able to view these kind of short 5-minute videos on what we're up to kind of at their leisure. So we also have an online survey that is open right now through July 20th. We're using a MetroQuest platform, which is kind of what we used for our first survey. I wrote down the address because I wanted to share that with you, but I will email that out as well, so you can pass along to your friends and colleagues and family. But that survey can be reached through the following address. It's projects2050rtp.metroquest.com. And we're hoping to kind of gather as much information as we can in the next 4 weeks or so. And so obviously, if I don't want to put anyone on the spot tonight, if you have a project that you're considering or that you'd like for us to consider, you can always contact us individually as well. And kind of just where we're drawing from all these projects, outreach is, of course, public outreach is a very important aspect of what we do as an agency, but we also pull projects from, sorry, I was just getting a notification in the chat box. I didn't want to make sure I didn't miss anything here. Okay. Oh yeah, I did see a message from Jillian with the YouTube. We are having some issues with that tonight. I had it going. They pulled it, and I'm trying to reinstate it. So I apologize for any issues with the streaming on our YouTube video tonight. Worst case scenario, we will repost this recording so that it'll be up there to be viewed at a later time. So Jillian, I hope that answers your question, and I'm sorry I just now noticed the chat. So hopefully I'm not missing anything else.
Well, the other chat that was sent out was just Rebecca giving a website where they can go to for that survey.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Sorry, I'm still not used to this multitasking, going through screens, trying to talk and read member comments at the same time. So forgive me if I'm a little slow to respond. However, getting back to this presentation, so as I mentioned probably at an earlier meeting, we have an existing 2040 RTP, and obviously since it does look so far out in the future, there are several projects that are still on the books that will be again evaluated for inclusion in the 2050 RTP and move forward. We also have some new project suggestions based on some studies that have happened since our last RTP update, that being the South Meadows Multimodal Transportation Study and the University Area Transportation Study. There were some great project recommendations that come out of that. Rudy alluded to one with a potential new roadway connection between Wells and Evans or 9th in the university area. We did update our ADA transition plan in the meantime, and we are in the process of developing an update to our coordinated human services transportation plan, which really addresses all the transit service providers in the region and how we might be able to better coordinate and eliminate any duplication of service and that sort of thing. We have a proposal or we're reviewing proposals right now for our advanced mobility study, which is looking at electrification, alternative fuels, as well as just kind of what the future of kind of a whole suite of mobility options might look like here in the Reno Sparks area. And then we are working concurrently with NDOT on a Mount Rose Highway corridor study and a McCarran Boulevard study. And these are not quite off the ground yet, and they aren't likely to be completed before we need to finalize this RTP, but in the meantime, we'll be looking to extract as much information as we can from those studies as they're ongoing. So we do have, out of our 2040 RTP, a number of projects that are currently under development. I just want to touch on this real quick. One of the big ones is Sun Valley Boulevard, and looking at some multimodal improvements up in that area. We're also looking at design considerations for the Center Street cycle track, and that's going through a public process right now. And we're also looking at some multimodal improvements on Oddie Wells as well. Oddie in Reno, and where it kind of curves into Wells. And then, as I mentioned, we are drawing upon the projects that are in our current 2040 RTP. Ones that have come out of studies. This was largely to come out of their South Meadow studies, but we had a few suggestions, as you can see here with the proposed widening of Arrow Creek. That was not actually part of this. I'm sorry? Vince, did you say something? Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Vince, I don't know if you were trying to say something. I think I missed it though. Okay, I'm gonna continue on. So these are our projects from the university area study, as I touched on earlier. And then lastly, we're looking at connectivity up in the North Valleys. RTC is working with the Reno State Airport as well as the city of Reno, looking at what some of their development needs are up there. And we've also heard from residents in the area as well as other private developers on suggestions on how to improve connectivity in the North Valleys. So that's kind of what we've heard to date regarding roadway projects. Of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about transit. And the map shown here indicates areas that have been suggested in the past for expansion. What that expansion looks like, we really don't know at this point in time. And of course, there's a whole slew of other considerations such as funding. I am happy to report, though, that the Flex Ride services that are currently operating in Sparks, and we're expanding that into Spanish Springs, those are operating very well, even kind of in light of this current situation with ridership down. And we also, our board approved the North Valleys and also out in Verdi. So areas shown in yellow on the map are kind of where our current Flex Ride zones are. And then for the benefit of the group, I'll just read the names of some of the other areas considered for expansion, which would be up in the Red Rock, Cold Springs area, Holland Ranch area, South Reno, kind of in the Galena area, as well as in Damani Ranch, down into Washoe Valley, and even some talks about service up in Incline Village, which is a good segue into this last slide here. We've also been talking with folks from TRPA and the Tahoe Transportation District about the possibility of running a route up Mount Rose Highway up to Incline Village, then down Highway 28 over to Spooner and into Carson City. And this is very preliminary, very high level, but that's kind of the point. That's where we're at here with the RTP. So there's no bad ideas for projects. It's just, you know, we'll have to go through the process to see what the feasibility is. So with that, I'll stop talking. I feel like I've done enough of that, and really just want to open it up to this committee to provide any comments. And like I said, if you don't have anything now, you can definitely reach out to me or other staff and feel free to weigh in on this. And we will be bringing this back at a later date once we have more of a defined list.
Daniel, I was laughing at that last slide because I wanted to suggest a couple of very broad goals, one of which was to be able to get from Spanish Springs to the Capitol, but not that way.
Okay.
I mean, that has its purposes, and there's nothing wrong with that. But in terms of, you know, connecting Reno Sparks with the Capitol, something more along 395 would be a good goal. I mean, I can't break it down into smaller projects, but I am very interested in some of these larger connectivity issues like Spanish Springs to the Capitol, from USA Parkway out to the major transportation hubs in all direct, population centers, you know, in whatever directions those go. I know that's bigger than RTC, but it may just be that those county collaborations are things that I would like to suggest be prioritized. As we grow, we have got to get people off the roads, and having simple commuting between those population centers is important. I do know that Sierra Club is aggressively pursuing the railroad track between, I think it's Gardnerville and USA Parkway. That might open up a lot of possibilities. I don't know what that area looks like, if there's a road along the railroad track that